Hi guys, today on Not a Nail Tech, I am doing some stained glass nails, but they're going to look like a sky. So I'm starting off with this pearly gel polish and I'm just putting this down as a base. I'm going to pop that into Cure and then I'm going in with some of our emerald iridescent chrome pigment, and this is just absolutely divine, so just buff that all in over the top. Once that's done, I'm going to dust off all of the excess. And then I'm just going in with our gel top coat nail sealer and just sealing all of that in, because I know for a fact as we go along this design I'm probably going to get things wrong, wipe it off, start again, and this just seals in all of that chrome so I can't wipe it off. Once that's cured, I'm using these 4 different jelly colours, and we're going for jelly because we want a stained glass look, so we want to be able to see the light shine through it. So I'm going to be using Kiwano, blue raspberry, a bit of Feijoa, and starfruit. So I'm going to be adding some stars, so I'm just adding on a dot and just pulling out the sides for the points of the star. I sometimes find this is the easiest way of getting the shape, but I'm not the best at stars, so don't judge me. They're not always the most even, so I do have to go back in and even them out and add some extra gel polish to some of the points and stuff. But you can just keep pulling this out until you're happy with the shape. Once that's cured, I'm going back in with our Soul Stone, the pearly gel polish that we used earlier, and I'm just mapping out where I'm going to have some clouds. So this will just add a bit more of an opaque section over the top. So with this design, what I've decided to do is map out all of my sections with the colours, and then I'm going to go in with some builder gel to line all of that to make it look like the leading that's round a stained glass window. And I'm just going in on all of the other nails and adding in the cloud sections as well. So I'm just mapping out where I want the curves and then filling it all in. At the end I will be adding more clouds on top of these, but just with line work. Now I'm just going in and mapping out a sun, so I'm doing a big dot in the middle. I have flash cured that just so I don't mess it up too much and it doesn't run anywhere. And then just adding in some sun rays at the top, the bottom and the sides. And I'm just doing a line at the moment, but I am going to pull these out towards the edges so they have a bit of a shape to them. Once I'm happy with those and I've cured them, I'm just adding in some diagonal lines as well, just in the same effect as I have already. Once I'm happy with those, I'm going to pop them into Cure before adding some of those sun rays, just extending onto the other nail as well. So when they're next to each other, it'll look like the sun rays have just reached over. Next I'm going in and just adding some of that blue raspberry, and this is just for one of the sky colours. So I'm just filling in everywhere that I want that and make sure it goes up to the edge of the star as well. And I'm going to do this on all of the nails. I'm going to be adding a bit of a swishy line in between the blue and the greeny colour, just because I don't necessarily want the whole thing to be blue. I want to add a little bit of dimension. But on this one I'm also mapping out where my moon is going to go as well. So I'm just mapping the outside of the moon until I'm happy with the shape. And then just filling in the background as well. And as you can see, that is my line for where the blue is going to stop, and underneath that it'll be our greeny colour. And as you can see, that pearly polish and the chrome powder are shining through the jelly polishes. That's why I wanted to use the jelly polishes as well, so you could see that shimmer through it. So once that's done, I've cured it and I'm just going in all of my other nails and mapping out that section that I want. So I'm going to try and continue them across, so when they're next to each other they look like they continue on and not like a static nail on its own. And just fill in all of those sections. I'm going to cure all of those blue sections, and I've just mixed together some Feijoa and Kiwano, and this is just making a bit more of a tealy tone, just to add a bit of definition between the two colours. And don't worry too much if you make a bit of a mistake. As you can see there, I just wiped a little bit off and I just use a brush with some gel residue remover, and it'll just take off any bits that have gone over any sections that you didn't want. Once that's all done, I'm going to cure it, and then I'm going in with our gel top coat nail sealer and just going over all of the nails to seal in what I've done. And this will also even out some of the shapes that have been made before I go in and just buff them all down, because I don't want the background to be too textured, because I want it to be quite flat, and then the top to be quite textured that we're going to add in next. Then I'm just going to dust all of that excess off before mixing some Jack Frost and Serious Black together, because I want this colour to be more of a grey tone than black or white, because we're going to go over it later and I want it to blend in a little bit with the colour we're using later. So you're just going to map out all of the sections that we've already done. And if you've ever seen stained glass before, if you've ever done stained glass before, there might be some sections where you have to add in extra lines because it wouldn't make sense. For example, on the points of the stars, you wouldn't be able to cut it out and do it like that. You would have to have a line that goes from the point to the edge. So you'll see, if that doesn't make sense, you'll see what I mean as we go along. So I'm even doing a line between the two blue and green sections because, like I say, if you were doing stained glass, you would have some leading in between those sections too. So I'm just going to go in and add in some extra clouds as well. So I'm just adding in some different shapes at the bottom, all little C curves. And I'm going to follow these along the nails as well so they all continue on. And I'm also going in and adding a border around the whole entire nail. So the joy of this section is if you've ever looked quite closely at that leading on stained glass, it's not perfect. It is a little bit bumpy because of where all the joins are and stuff. So it's absolutely fine if you've got a little bit of texture with this. You're going to cure that, and then we're going to use our silver liquid metal, and as you can see, this just kind of looks like a liquid chrome. So I'm just going to go over all of those 3D sections that we've just done with this, and I love the fact that with the grey behind, it doesn't matter too much if you don't manage to get it covered properly, because it is quite difficult covering over 3D gel polish. Sometimes it can run a little bit and you'll have to wipe it off. But that's fine, you can just go in with a brush and some gel residue remover again. You're going to do the same process on all of the nails and cure them. And then next we're just going to top coat over everything. So make sure you're getting all of those nooks and crannies. Stick that into cure and we have the final set. I'm quite happy with how these have turned out. I think they're really, really cool. And in a little while, we're going to show you how they look in front of a light, so you can see the light shining through them, so they really do look like stained glass. If you like what we've done today, please leave us a like, a comment, and don't forget to subscribe as well. We will also link all of the products that have been used today down in the description box and tag them in the video as well. And we hope to see you next time, guys. See you later. Bye.